Hello everyone, I'm Renowned Zero, back from vacation, but now let's get back to work. It would appear that Eric has done the worst thing possible on the face of planet Earth to all these different detractors and weirdos. And what is this terrible thing that he could have possibly done to make them so enraged and so upset and so angry at them? Well, something they could never achieve clearly, because according to people like Vito, you could absolutely achieve this by just simply handing this individual a whole bunch of money in order to get this statue that Eric has put out from McFarlane Toys. That's right, you heard me. From McFarlane Toys, over the week that just passed, Eric announced that he has put out his first ever Rippaverse statue of Yaira for Yaira number 1 and for people to buy. For a minimum of at least 500 of them would be produced for a maximum of 1,050. That's right, this trailer right here was put out talking about the collaboration between the Rippaverse and McFarlane Toys, which is interesting because Vito decided that he was going to say it's not even on McFarlane's page, so it can't be legit. It had to be that Eric gave McFarlane a bunch of money. Well, yeah, there's licensing deals. McFarlane has to sign off on it. McFarlane has to put his name on it and sell it. There's at least half of those 500 already sold. But it's very interesting, the nonsense that has come out from this simple thing of a statue being put out by individuals like Vonster, Vito, and a couple of others. But let's get into this main thing here first. The Yaira campaign closed out today, ended today, I believe at midnight, close to $1.6 million, 19,008 books sold total. Of course, you can obviously buy the books and other merchandise after the fact, but you can see the nice Yaira statue here for a whopping $499.99, which is not really much considering. It's funny that individual non-genius like Tiso Spencer would sit up here and say, I can't afford it, that I'm a brokey. Meanwhile, I got 3 statues right on this dresser that cost more than $500. You absolute moron. So thank you for pointing out that you think I'm a brokey. By the way, same guy who had to sell books or sell stuff before he could even purchase books from Inglorious Rex, the Inglorious Rex series from Shane Davis, on eBay, by the way, which doesn't support Shane Davis at all. It supports people on eBay who have the book who supported Shane Davis, not Shane Davis directly. So congratulations for showing the world that you're actually the brokey who wants to buy the comics after the fact, when I'm the one that spent $250 on a bunch of books I'm not going to care to read. Probably just going to sell them off. That's what I'm going to do. Books I'm not going to read. So, Blade Devil Book 2 Chains of Blood, as always, being out there. 158K, 1,715 backers. Getting on the 4 covers. 1, 2, and 3 on cover A, B, and C. Cover D will be down here. The Summer Limited Wraparound cover here. Getting on Book 1 for just $10, plus shipping at Sick Fox Studios Unlimited here on Indiegogo. Of course, Phenomenova by Vaughn Coleman did finish up. Now this is a storefront where you can continue to buy the book over time if you'd like. It closed out, I think, about 12K, over 200 backers. Fantastic. Now, let's take a look at Vonster's campaigns and see why he's so upset that someone would put out a statue from McFarlane with Rippaverse. Didn't make 100K. Congratulations. This one made 100K. It's the only campaign that's probably ever going to make 6 figures. Baby Terror in the Trenches Volume 2 might make 6 figures, but your first one didn't make 6 figures. Why? Because you're spending too much time hitting on other people. And this is your latest campaign that only made 20K. So with different IPs, even though you like to claim that different IPs from the Rippaverse make less money, it should all make the same, even though they're different IPs, why isn't your stuff making the same amount of money in each one? Oh, it's different IPs. We forget that, of course, different IPs make different money, attract different customers, but we're not going to do this whole thing again. It's always rules for thee, but not for me nonsense with you. But of course, saying millions, and meanwhile Eric is begging people to sign up for memberships, something he's not doing, something that you and Tiso, dumb person over here, thinks that he's doing, because apparently, Eric July, according to Tiso Spencer, Eric July is the hardest R version of the N-word that he can utter into the stratosphere, because let him speak long enough, they eventually let the mask slip and show people who they really are. This didn't take very long, coming from the unintelligent crackhead that makes the masterpiece posts. Moving on to someone like Andy Signor, fat individual who blocked me, by the way, who's absolutely irrelevant and a lolcow, just like the people he hangs around. Why would he make 2 expensive statues of Yaira, character who isn't even out yet, not make one of Isum? Obviously, Isum will eventually come, but because the Yaira campaign is the current thing going on, Yaira is what is going to be made. Obviously. which, by the way, Yaira is the fan favorite character, even more so than Isom, which is why, again, they made a statue first for Yaira. I'm sure Isom will eventually come. By the way, this is the programming where it says that Eric July is begging for memberships simply because he says, I can promise you once we have a significant amount of members, even at the $5 a month tier, we will immediately put Isom, Yaira, Alpha Core, or General Rippaverse animated series or shorts fully in motion. I'm sure he can do it without having those memberships, but it would obviously be done quicker with more money, obviously. But this is something that you don't understand, Vonster, because you're not very intelligent when it comes to economics. Clearly, not basic economics. But this is apparently the begging that they're talking about. By the way, this is a statue of a PVC, one that I actually own. It says it's only $110. By the way, PVC statues from Marvel are only about $50 from Gallery, from Diamond Selects Gallery. Things like Storm, Spider-Man, etc. You could get those for about $50. And those are about the same size as this statue, probably a little bit slightly taller. And you can get it for $50. So for anyone who believes that a PVC statue won't be cheap to make, cheap to sell, you're an idiot. And I can tell you right now, you don't buy statues. So stop acting as if you know anything about statues or the statue market when you don't have any yourself. I've got multiple on this dresser, and I've got multiple around here. So apparently, this person says, Vonster says, begging for Rippaverse statue money is a new low. I didn't know begging was putting out a GoFundMe. This isn't begging. Good thing that mythical second statue isn't happening, or you have to set up another GoFundMe. See, it's going to be very interesting when you move the goalpost, just like all the other clowns that claim the second statue isn't coming. So when the second statue comes out, what's the goalpost shift going to be? Because this is how it always happens. Clowns like you always have to shift the goalposts when you say something, and then something you say is not going to happen comes true, and then eventually the goalpost is going to shift when it happens, because you have to shift the goalpost. Same guy who's promoting a fearsome book from the frog person who puts out a full version of his fearsome book before even putting out the preview book and getting that to backers, but he put out another campaign of the full version of that book before even getting out the preview version. 3 donations, Eli's begging has paid off, because this is apparently begging. When he says, he wants people to help him get something. And so, it's so terrible that people spend their money to help someone else, another individual, get something they want. He upped his begging to 1K now to get another, and Rippaverse Wiki has launched his own begging cup. Amazing. Maybe Overfish should crowdfund their crowdfunding money in the future. Congrats, Eli, you set a trend. Maybe they should crowdfund to buy your books, because obviously not many people are buying your books. People have bought Yaira more than any of your books. So what's your excuse? Oh, right, you're patronizing potential customers like myself. I was actually interested in Terror of the Trenches back in the day, by the way. Looked pretty good. Not caring anymore for your trash, because I don't care to fund an a-hole like you, or Shane Davis, or EVS, or any of you other clowns. I'd rather back Cider just to spite you. I'd rather back Cider Hype just to spite you, you clown. The Yaira campaign didn't make its 2 million goal. Well, 3 of your campaigns didn't make 6 figures, because you're sitting here crying like a little girl every day. And this is your entire life. By the way, Yaira is carefree too. That's not what it says. It's funny how you highlighted that. Meanwhile, that's not what it says, carefree. It's spelled correctly, but your dumb has the worst English in history, and you care so much about intricate little details about literally anything Eric July is doing, because you are a jealous, envious little man who has to suckle the teat of your frog loser, of your frog a-hole, to gain any relevancy in the comic industry. A new cope dropped. If Yaira hits 2 mil, you get to buy a second statue, because there's such a demand for that after buying the first one that has sold already 250 out of the original initial 500 for the character no one knows. Eric will say anything to not look like he made a mistake. You will say anything to keep making yourself look like a total I digress. Terrible memes. They had the McFarlane statue planned from the start. They never planned 2 statues. This is why I dropped Rippaverse. The brazen lies customers is unethical. The brazen lies customers is unethical. You are a writer, and you can't even write proper tweets. Especially to me as a creator who wants to cultivate trust with my audience, all to save face over a silly funding goal. Wow. Eric July wants to give people what they want in statues and toy markets. How horrible. The things that people have been asking for, the things that customers have been clamoring for, is so terrible that he wants to give people stuff anyway, because apparently, I've never crowdfunded a book before, which I did. I crowdfunded Stealing Solo from world-class BSers, and they didn't reach a funding goal for an Animagnet, but they gave the Animagnet to everyone anyway, without even reaching the goal, simply because they enjoyed the fact that people supported their book. And I wouldn't be surprised if Stealing Solo made more money than all your books, but I'm not going to check that because I don't care enough. I say Comicsgate King is ass mad about how grown men spend their money. News at 11. Apparently you can't be mad even though you've been tweeting about it for the last week. You've been tweeting about it for a week now, saying that this rivals anything out there. Does it rival Death? No. No, it doesn't. Doesn't rival it in art. Doesn't rival it in penciling. Doesn't rival it in ink or coloring or page count or cost, for that matter. But of course somebody has to do this. Let's look at everything. Let's continue to count a man's money. Let's continue to supposedly see a downfall in someone's business, even though none of these people actually run a successful business. Let's just continue to talk all the nonsense. And it says the philosophy that bad books are okay as long as you market it as winning is failing. Again, bad books is your opinion. You're allowed to have it. Congratulations, you freaking weirdo. Congratulations, you have an opinion like everybody else on the planet. You keep saying bad books, okay? I can sit up here and say something like The Last Jedi is an absolutely garbage film. Someone else can look at that same film and say it's amazing. They still have the right to have that opinion no matter how bad I think that movie is. But this is the type of mentality you clowns have. You're going to continue to say it's bad. Congratulations, your frog daddy gave you new marching orders and told you to say everything is bad. You flip-flopping piece of garbage. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You are the type of person that likes to say that Ripper fans don't let other people have fun while you sit up here and you talk trash about a universe you're not a part of, a universe you don't partake in, a universe you don't care about. You partake and try to ruin other people's fun and say everything is bad except your stuff, rather than focusing on your stuff. That's why I will not support you. I'm the type of person you want to have buying your stuff. Because I buy merch. I buy all the stuff that comes with your campaigns. I bought the I Want It All for Yaira. But you'll never have a customer like me who will buy your stuff because I don't care to support a piece of garbage like you or anybody in new CG. I'll give my money to Billy Tucci. I'll give my money to Graham Nolan. I'll give my money to Eric July. And you can sit up there and you can cope and see it all you want until the end of time, until you're blue in the face. Thank you all for checking out this video. Happy to be back. Happy to be dunking on detractors as always, because it's really fun to call out these absolute idiots all the time. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, comment below how you feel about all this. Hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all, that way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video or live stream, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.